What if I told you that just 100 feet beneath the chilly waves of Lake Michigan, there sits a massive structure that completely challenges everything we know about human history? Or, get this, that a creature we were absolutely certain went extinct 65 million years ago was recently found not as a dusty fossil, but actually swimming right alongside us in our modern oceans. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're diving into the hidden wonders that prove our world is far, far stranger than we ever imagined.
I mean, it makes you wonder, is history a lie? Okay, it's a bold thought, right? But seriously, what if the prehistoric timeline we've all been taught in school is just entirely wrong? Because based on a recent string of shocking unearthings spanning from deep ocean trenches all the way to the frozen Siberian permafrost, scientists and historians are basically being forced to completely rewrite the books. So let's dive right into this because the sheer scale and, honestly, the impossibility of these discoveries will leave you asking exactly that. Wait, they found what? We are about to look at the hard evidence, the artifacts, and the literal creatures that simply should not exist. Yet here they are, staring us right in the face. Part 1, The Underwater Anomalies, Secrets Beneath the Waves. Okay, so our first mystery kicks off in 2007. Underwater archaeologist Dr. Mark Hawley was out scanning the bed of Lake Michigan's Grand Traverse Bay, just looking for a run-of-the-mill shipwreck using sonar. But as he looked at the readings, he didn't find a ship at all. So he gears up, dives 100 feet down, and finds this ominous, perfectly straight, mile-long line of boulders just resting in the flat sand, leading directly to a sudden, steep drop-off. Now, of course, the media immediately dubbed it Lake Michigan's Stonehenge, assuming it was some mystical, spiritual site. But actually, scratch that, it's way more practical. This brilliantly illustrates how ancient human ingenuity worked. Anthropologists realized these were prehistoric drive lines. Basically, over 10,000 years ago, ancient hunters strategically placed these rocks because they knew caribou instinctively follow linear formations. They used this massive, mile-long funnel to herd the animals right to that steep drop-off for a highly calculated, incredibly effective hunt. Let's shift gears from ancient lakes out to the open ocean. Picture this. It's 2023, and a robotic deep-sea vehicle is scanning the Mediterranean seafloor, about 55 miles off the coast of Israel, searching for gas fields. Instead, a whole mile beneath the surface, it stumbles upon a shipwreck. And the age of this ship? 3,300 years old. Yeah, 3,300. The robotic vehicle actually managed to recover several perfectly preserved clay urns, amphorae, that likely held ancient oil, wine, or agricultural products. But here is the so what, why this actually matters to you and me. Finding this ship out in the deep, rough waters of the Mediterranean, completely out of sight of land, proves that these ancient mariners possessed incredibly advanced sun and star navigation technology thousands of years earlier than we ever dared to believe. It's a real game changer. Moving on to part 2, Myths Made Real, When Legends Breathe. Let's see how this all builds. We just saw how ancient humans were way more capable than we thought, right? But what about the monsters they feared? Well, it turns out, sometimes, the terrified, exhausted whispers of ancient sailors actually become undeniable scientific facts. For centuries, maritime folklore was absolutely plagued by the Kraken. You know, the bloodthirsty, multi-armed beast that smashed boats and dragged men to a watery grave. Everyone thought it was just a myth until 1873 in Newfoundland. 2 fishermen and a boy were out in a small boat when this massive, unidentifiable mass floated up. When they poked it, the creature literally roared to life and slung a massive tentacle right over their boat. The boy grabbed an axe and hacked off a 19-foot piece of a living giant squid. In that one moment, a legendary myth was instantly transformed into a terrifying reality. And hey, it's not just giant deep-sea monsters either. Scientists were absolutely 100% certain that the coelacanth fish went completely extinct with the dinosaurs 65 million years ago. That was the consensus. But then, in 1938, a museum curator in South Africa named Marjorie Courtney Latimer was digging through a local fisherman's daily catch, and she spots this 5-foot-long, bright blue fish with strange, almost arm-like fins. She rushed to preserve this living fossil, literally saving one of the greatest zoological discoveries of the century from becoming a local family's Christmas dinner. No joke. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the implication of its anatomy. When scientists finally got to study live coelacanths, they realized they don't even swim with their tails like normal fish do. They actually use their front and back fins to paddle, essentially walking through the water. And even wilder, DNA testing later proved they are genetically linked to all tetrapods. That means everything from horses to cats to, well, you and me, shares a distant genetic link with this prehistoric survivor.
All right, on to Section 3, Frozen Horrors and Hidden Armies. Unearthed from ice and soil. Let's leave the oceans behind for a second and plunge into the harsh, icy permafrost of Yakutia, Siberia. Imagine this. A local guy is trudging along a frozen riverbank, desperately searching for valuable mammoth tusks. He's not having any luck at all, totally about to give up, when he spots a strange clump of fur sticking right out of the solid ice. So he chips away at the ice and pulls out a severed head. It looked like a giant dog, but the sheer scale of it was just completely wrong. When he finally handed it over to the scientists at the Republic of Sakha Academy of Sciences, carbon dating revealed a stunning truth. That severed head had been perfectly frozen in the ice for 40,000 years. It belonged to a Pleistocene wolf. And the stats on this beast, absolutely staggering. The head alone measured a massive 16 inches long. To put that into perspective, that makes it far larger and deadlier than any modern wolf or even the legendary dire wolf. Its devastating bite strength evolved specifically to take down massive prey like mastodons. Finding this fully grown apex predator so perfectly preserved really forces us to reimagine the terrifying scale of the Ice Age wilderness. I mean, wow. But while the ice preserves monsters, the soil preserves armies. Let's pivot to a sleepy village in northwest China back in 1974. Desperate farmers were digging a well during a really severe drought when thunk, a shovel hit something hard. What emerged was the head of a statue. This totally accidental strike led to the staggering unearthing of 8,000 life-sized, individually carved terracotta warriors. These statues were originally built to protect China's first emperor in the afterlife, but their unearthing brought a pretty dark narrative to the locals. See, the farmers who found them believed disturbing the ancestors would unleash an ancient curse. And tragically, to make way for a massive museum, the government ended up evicting the entire village, basically destroying their livelihoods. The very men who made the discovery fell into desperate poverty, disease, and in some cases, suicide. So to those locals, the curse of the terracotta army was very, very real. Which brings us to Section 4, the inspiration for legend, a ring and a curse. Speaking of ancient curses, let's transition to a seemingly small artifact that birthed literally the greatest fantasy epic of our time. Picture it, 1785. A farmer plowing his field near Silchester, England, spots something shiny. He brushes away the dirt to find this heavy, incredibly ornate, 10-sided gold ring, inscribed with Latin text. Now, for decades, this ring was just a neat little curiosity. That is, until a lead tablet, a literal Roman curse tablet, was excavated at a Celtic healing temple about 80 miles away. On it, a man named Silvianus had actually carved a desperate plea for divine vengeance right into the lead, asking a god to strike down a thief named Sinianianus and ruin his health until that golden ring was returned. So the crucial point here is how this incredible historical detective work actually came together over the years. Jump to 1928, and renowned archaeologist Sir Mortimer Wheeler finally connects the cursed tablet from the temple to the gold ring found 80 miles away. To help translate and really understand the ancient lore, Wheeler brings in an Oxford scholar of ancient languages. You might have heard of him. His name was J.R.R. Tolkien. Just a few years later, Tolkien wrote his fantasy epic about a cursed stolen gold ring. Makes sense now, right? We've seen a lot of incredible things today, but let's kick off a rapid-fire look at what else is hiding right beneath us, starting with America's most beloved park. In 1965, NASA accidentally mapped Yellowstone while testing some satellites, only to realize that the entire park isn't just a dormant chain of small volcanoes. No, it's one singular, 2-million-year-old supervolcano. And terrifyingly, recent studies show its lava chambers are actually rapidly filling up. Or how about the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Germany? A diver retrieving a lost net in the Bay of Gelting recently pulled up what looked like a crusty old typewriter. Well, it was actually a highly classified Nazi Enigma cipher machine.
It turns out right before the war ended, Operation Rainbow ordered German forces to secretly scuttle their ships and dump their most valuable code-breaking machines straight to the muddy depths. Then there's Berlin in 1956. Workers digging to fix a broken phone table in the pouring rain hit solid concrete beneath the streets. They crack it open to find a massive, high-tech CIA espionage tunnel tapping directly into Soviet lines. But in this massive Cold War chess match, it turned out the broken cable was entirely a cover story. The Soviets knew about the tunnel all along from a double agent, and they set up the accidental discovery just to embarrass the West. And finally, let's look at the Yonaguni Monument. Discovered by a diver in 1986 off the coast of Japan, these massive, flat-surfaced, 80-foot-tall stepped pyramid structures sit completely submerged in the Pacific. Scientists are still fiercely debating right now if the incredibly clean lines and perfect right angles are just a freak, natural tectonic formation, or if they're the sunken, legendary kingdom of Mu. From perfectly preserved Ice Age monsters and cursed gold rings to secret spy tunnels and ticking supervolcanoes, history isn't just safely locked away in the past. It's actively being pulled from the dirt and the waves every single day. So, I'll leave you with this one lingering thought. If all of this was hiding right under our feet, just waiting for a stray shovel or a sonar ping, what else is waiting to be found?